Hello, and thank you for joining us on CBS 8. I'm Heather Myers. Here at CBS 8, we are working for you, getting to the bottom of problems you've asked about, and we are looking for solutions. We begin in Oceanside, where local leaders are taking the first steps to rebuild the city's historic pier. This week, several San Diego County legislators sent a letter to Governor Gavin Newsom asking his administration to provide emergency funding to repair the fire-damaged Oceanside pier. Meantime, though, we are getting a glimpse into what goes into a project like that. Back in 2016, a fire broke out at the closed-down Ruby's restaurant on the Seal Beach Pier in Orange County. It took 3 years and $8 million to rebuild. CBS 8's David Gottfredson spoke with a civil engineer who worked on that project to find out what it's going to take to repair the Oceanside Pier.
This is not the Oceanside Pier. It's the Seal Beach Pier on fire back in May of 2016. Under strangely similar circumstances, a shutdown Ruby's Diner at the end of the pier was destroyed. The cause of the fire? Electrical.
The fire was an electrical circuit somewhere within the old structure. And basically that burned down, and then it was able to find its way underneath into some of the other supporting members.
Stephen Much is a civil engineer with Anzer Advisory who worked to rebuild the Seal Beach Pier. He says engineers in Oceanside will begin by evaluating the pilings underneath the pier.
To look at how deep the burn went into the wood and how much good wood is remaining. If the tops of the piles are too badly damaged, then they're probably going to have to be replaced because they won't support future load.
The decking on top of the pier will have to be replaced, and Much says that can take time.
That's a hardwood, and those are very dense, very weather-resistant materials. They typically come out of the South American forests, so it's difficult to procure. And on our project, we waited about 6 months after we ordered the material for it to be delivered.
And it's that same hardwood decking that makes the fire difficult to put out.
If you've ever been on a pier, you notice that the spacing in between the wood planking on the surface deck is typically, somewhere around 1/4 to 1/2 inch opening. So if there's something on fire under there, it's impossible to basically just stand on top and hose it down. You're not going to get all of it. You're just going to get a very, very small portion to get through the crack. And that was one of the issues with the Seal Beach Pier, is that it smoldered for quite a while. It took them, I think, two or 3 days to actually get the whole thing completely out.
The city of Seal Beach was able to keep the front of the pier open to the public during 3 years of reconstruction, but the restaurant was never rebuilt.
Patience is the biggest thing I could promote, and this is going to be a long process. It's going to take a couple of years to get things back to where, it used to be.
David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
We've brought you countless stories about frustrated drivers and the quality of San Diego's roads. Well, this week, city crews started resurfacing streets in several communities. City Heights, Encanto, Skyline, Paradise Hills, Linda Vista, Grantville, Serra Mesa, Mira Mesa, Mission Valley, and Kearney Mesa are among the neighborhoods set for the next round of slurry seal. Now, it's often done in phases over several days or weeks. Work is expected to last through the end of the month. Tonight, we are hearing from people in Southeast San Diego who say that cars are speeding recklessly through their Emerald Hills neighborhood. CBS 8's Jasmine Ramirez is working for you to try to put the brakes on this dangerous driving.
Residents here in Emerald Hills say speeding drivers have hit multiple parked cars, even totaling some. They say it's a growing concern and want to see more done to make the neighborhood safer. Emerald Hills residents say enough is enough.
Hit and runs, they'll hit and then they'll run.
Joanna Aguirre has lived here more than 40 years.
The person came speeding up the street like 100 miles an hour and spun out and hit the neighbor's car, totally totaled it, and then her car got flipped.
Here you can see her neighbor's silver car flipped on its roof. She says it happened just last week on Geneva Avenue. It's this hilly road running through their neighborhood.
I've seen children almost hit because at the crest of this hill, you cannot see coming up the hill, so it's very dangerous.
Another longtime resident wanted to remain anonymous, but says they've worked for decades to get drivers to slow down.
We have been advocating for years, I know 20, 30, 40 years. We tried to get speed bumps up here, and that was to no results.
Working for you, I reached out to the San Diego police. They recommend residents fill out this traffic-related concern form that's sent to the traffic division for follow-up. You can contact the city's transportation department to see if speed mitigation measures can be taken. Tonight, I also learned extra police patrols can be requested through the city's website. Emerald Hills residents are hopeful stop signs or speed bumps can be installed.
We have been put on the back burner for too long.
Just a safer community. That's all we're trying to do.
Jasmine Ramirez, CBS 8.
Tonight, we are learning just how far home insurance companies are taking inspections to decide whether to renew your coverage or to cancel it. CBS 8 Shannon Handy is working for you and shows us how companies are determining if you are in or out.
In the past, companies would send inspectors to your home, but we've learned here in San Diego they're now using drones and other technology to survey your property before deciding whether to insure it or not.
This is nothing new as far as looking at homes and looking at properties at renewal.
Insurance expert Carl Sussman says while taking pictures of a home before renewing a policy is normal, he acknowledges the strategy more companies are now using to do it can feel a bit invasive.
It's just the idea feels a little bit awkward and a little weird and a little strange to have, not know when it's happening.
Recently, a CBS 8 colleague of mine received a notice letting them know satellite imagery showed moss on their roof, which could result in a canceled policy if it wasn't taken care of. A spokesperson with nonprofit consumer advocacy organization United Policyholders told me there's been a dramatic increase in reports from customers with similar stories. Homeowners claim drones and other devices captured things like debris and in one case a drained pool, all of which led to their policies getting dropped.
What we're seeing is companies that are at renewal going and looking at the risks that they have to determine if there's what's called deferred maintenance, for example.
I asked Sussman if we're seeing this happen more now because companies are looking for reasons to drop customers. He says, while that's possible, more than anything, they're gearing up for home insurance regulations to change by the end of the year, which will allow them to offer underwriting discounts.
The only difference is right now, it's an all or nothing, right? It's either you must have it fixed or you can't have the policy. Whereas with the new regulations, you'll have the option. Do you want to pay more by not fixing your roof, or do you want to get a discount for having a new roof?
Sussman says the overall goal of his practice is to not have a claim, but given the fact insurance companies in California are letting go of more and more customers, he advises if your insurance company points out something, don't hesitate to get it fixed.
It's your best bet to just get it fixed right away.
Absolutely, right. Because again, the carrier doesn't have the option to underwrite based on it. It's all or nothing until these new regulations come out.
Working for you, I'm Shannon Handy for CBS 8.
Shannon, thanks. We do have a quick update on a popular home insurance company. Allstate says it could start writing new policies in California again, but there's a condition. The insurance company wants to be allowed to use computer programs to estimate future wildfire risks. They're asking the state's Department of Insurance to approve the regulatory changes. Allstate stopped issuing new insurance policies for all business and personal property in the state back in 2022. We have more on the lack of home insurance options for Californians. Coming up a little bit later, we will tell you about some lesser known options and how their coverage compares to some of the major companies. But coming up next, rattlesnake season is here. We are with a rattlesnake wrangler as he makes house calls, plus where they are most likely to be hiding. And don't forget, we want to look into the issues affecting you and your community. Email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Eradication efforts are underway after an invasive seaweed was discovered in the Coronado Cays area of San Diego Bay. Several members of the Department of Interior visited Coronado this week to inspect the algae. It's known as Calepra prolifera, and it can easily spread and cause severe injuries to other marine life. It's a growing problem that could cost $4 million to fix. So far, local agencies have received about $350,000 of federal funds to start working on this issue. It is rattlesnake season in San Diego, and the sightings are ramping up across our county. CBS 8's Brian White is working for you to find out what to do if you should come across one.
See, there's that rattle. Oh, he gave a little thrash. So that's the infamous sound. He didn't like that, okay?
A fresh catch here for Alexander Trejo. He's a rattlesnake wrangler, and this guy's maybe a year or two old.
These guys are a highly venomous pit viper. The pit viper means that they have heat-seeking pits on the front of their face. So all that means is they're able to detect their prey and strike lightning fast.
His company is getting lots of calls lately. I followed him out to a home in Alpine.
3 large, fat rattlesnakes that my landscape guy came across, and he stopped working, and I don't blame him.
Linda Brown made the call. Her home backs up to a large canyon.
They're in here, they'll buzz at me.
So Alexander got to work, scouring the area for all the places they might be hiding, like thick vegetation or in between rocks.
A lot of snakes love rock piles because rock piles are a great refuge for them. They're sturdy, they're fortified, they're impenetrable. The snakes can get under there and escape if they need to be.
After a thorough search of the brush.
But yeah, no, I checked that pile, that pile, that pile, went down there, checked this rock.
And checking around her home.
And they can be anywhere and everywhere. So right now it's super important to just check all of our options, make sure that there are no snakes.
They were nowhere to be found. Alexander says they probably got spooked.
It's always important, you see a venomous animal like a rattlesnake, you leave it alone, you give it space.
So I asked him, what do you do if you run into a rattlesnake out on a trail somewhere?
The number one thing you need to do if you ever see a rattlesnake is to avoid it at all costs. It doesn't benefit you, it doesn't benefit the animal to go up and try to mess with it, to move it. If you see a snake, let it do its thing.
And as far as what he does with the snakes he captures, he relocates them.
We are humane, so we always give the animals a second chance at life. I've been given a second chance. Everybody deserves a second chance. And so do they, even if you believe it or not.
Working for you, Brian White, CBS 8.
Much braver than I am. Wow. Right, you find a way to save money for a down payment. Your offer is accepted on a home. Well, next, we'll show you the new hurdle that is getting in the way of San Diego home buyers. Some well-known insurance companies are dumping out of California, leaving lesser-known companies to fill the gaps. Our David Gottfredson spoke with a San Diego insurance broker who offered advice.
We usually get the question, is this a legit insurance company? I've never heard of them before.
Bamboo Insurance, Hamilton DAC, Accelerant, insurance companies you've probably never heard of. But that's starting to change according to San Diego insurance broker Kiyoma Yoshizumi.
There's 3 tiers of insurance that I like to tell all of my clients about. The first level, which everyone should go for, is admitted insurance companies.
Admitted insurance agencies include State Farm, Allstate, and Farmers, the big names we all recognize. In general, they offer the best coverage, so admitted companies should be your first choice.
So these are vetted by the Department of Insurance here in California. They file their insurance rates with the Department of California, and they generally have more comprehensive policies available.
Some of the lesser-known insurance companies are non-admitted and more expensive.
These are more what we write today than ever before, because admitted insurance companies are the companies that are shut down right now in California.
It can get confusing because some companies like Bamboo Insurance, for example, offer both admitted and non-admitted policy options.
They have an admitted homeowners, they have an admitted landlord or rental property policy, and they also have a non-admitted homeowners available for California residences.
The third tier of insurance is the California Fair Plan, which covers fire damage only.
California Fair really is reserved for the last resort clients out there who will not be able to even get a non-admitted or an admitted insurance company to insure their home.
Mortgage companies may only accept insurance firms with an A rating, so make sure you shop around.
If you call one insurance agent and they don't have very many options for you, or they only give you a fair plan, you might want to call another office just to see what they might be able to offer you.
Another tip, if you are purchasing a home, that insurance broker tells me you might want to have 2 homeowners policies standing by in case your lender does not approve the coverage from one of them. David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
now for working for your wallet. A new California law aimed to ban hidden service fees could eliminate the surcharges some restaurants add to your bill. The law goes into effect coming up on July 1st. Those behind the law say it will prohibit the use of drip pricing. That's a practice in which companies advertise only a portion of what you are going to pay. This law will not stop restaurants, though, from raising prices on menus. Right now, San Diego's home prices are surging, setting a new record despite the high mortgage rates. CBS 8's Brian White is working for your wallet and breaks down the numbers and the latest trends.
Well, according to CoreLogic, that's a real estate analytics firm, the median home price in San Diego County has risen to $865,000. Now, that includes homes of all types, like single family and condos and townhomes. And according to their numbers, that's a 10% increase from the same time last year.
Home prices continue to go up, while sales activity continues to be relatively slow.
With home prices continuing to surge, CoreLogic says the San Diego market is the second most expensive in all of Southern California, next to Orange County.
The issue continues to be that we don't have enough inventory, and pent-up demand from buyers is really strong.
Selma Hepp is chief economist at CoreLogic. She says the landscape in San Diego is very challenging for those looking to buy a home, especially first-time buyers.
Home prices have been growing at a really fast pace over the last few years, even during the pandemic, because of the migration patterns to the area.
Despite surging prices, there were only 2,300 home sales last month across the county. That's the second slowest March on record since 1988. One of the reasons? High mortgage rates that have now climbed over 7% again.
It really kind of constrains the market and creates this bottleneck, because without people wanting to sell their homes, then there's not enough inventory on the market.
Spencer Lugash is president of the Greater San Diego Association of Realtors. He says one issue complicating the home buying process here in San Diego, especially in fire or flood-prone areas, is the ability to acquire insurance for a new home in order to finalize the sale.
It is becoming a significant problem for homeowners and for the market. Insurance is very difficult. We have more and more insurance companies moving out of California, not renewing policies.
Despite some of these insurance and inventory headwinds, Spencer says there are still plenty of buyers who want to live here.
Sometimes we refer to it as the sunshine tax. You know, we have beautiful weather, it's consistent, the beautiful beaches. It's just a wonderful place to live, and, you know, that creates desirability.
Brian White, CBS 8.
Well, that is going to do it for us. Remember, if there is something that you would like us to look into, you can email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com. Thanks for joining us here on CBS 8. We'll see you next time.